Kept you waiting, huh?
In 1991, the Soviet Union was in a state of collapse. Various countries had already broken away and declared themselves independent nations, and Chechen politicians saw this as their chance to become an independent nation as well. The leader of the Chechen National Congress, Zohar Dudayev, declared themselves to be the Chechen Republic of Ishkeria, and by the end of the year, his forces had driven out most Russian influences. Russia, unsurprisingly, did not accept this statement of independence, but could do little to bring the region back in line. Soon, Chechnya and its capital city of Grozny became a hub for organized crime and terrorism, supported by a government coming apart at the seams. By 1992, parts of the new republic started to break away, and by 1994, the new country was in a state of violent chaos between various political and criminal organizations. After a series of terror incidents stemming from the fledgling republic, the new Russian state started to fund Dudayev's political opposition more seriously. The Russians aided the anti-Dudayev forces with guns, money, and mercenaries. This pressure led Dudayev to threaten jihad against Russia, and declare that turning Chechnya into a fundamentally Islamic state would be the only way to defeat Russian aggression. As the civil war expanded, Russia sent in troops to retake the region. The resulting war saw horrific bloodshed, the Battle of Grozny being particularly brutal. Untold atrocities were committed for a variety of reasons, and after 2 years of fighting, the war finally drew to a close, resulting in a tentative ceasefire. Exact casualty numbers are not available, but around 110,000 people died in the conflict, 100,000 of those being civilians. With the country in ruins and Dudayev being killed in the conflict, Chechnya was in a sorry state. The violence and lawlessness rampant before the war worsened. The new president, Aslan Maskhadov, signed an agreement with Russia to rebuild the country, but what aid was given was far from enough. Soon, the unrecognized country became a hub for Islamic terrorists and terrorist sympathizers. By 1999, the Chechen Republic had turned into an Islamic state, with parliament being replaced by an Islamic council. The central government was crumbling, and regional warlords had taken its place. An already bad situation turned for the worst when Chechen jihadists invaded Dagestan, and little under a month later, a series of bombings rocked Moscow, killing 300 people. These attacks were quickly blamed on Chechen radicals. Russia's response was swift, and an aerial campaign started over Chechnya in August. It was not until October when the new Russian Prime Minister, Vladimir Putin, declared Maskhadov's regime illegitimate, that Russian ground forces invaded the region. This military campaign was much smoother than the one waged half a decade before. The Russians used extensive artillery and air support to soften up defenses before their advance. Although these tactics resulted in heavy civilian casualties, they were effective in retaking towns from Chechen forces. As the Russians advanced over the Terek River towards Grozny, local Chechen militia commanders defected due to concerns about radical jihadis that now filled their ranks. One of these commanders was Akmat Kadyrov. Chief Moody and veteran of the First Chechen War, Kadyrov was critical of the direction the country had taken. He was especially concerned with radical Wahhabism that had taken root since the first conflict. With the aid of local Chechen commanders, Russia was able to retake the country by April of 2000. Although there had been only half the casualties of the last conflict, the region was absolutely devastated. Grozny was reduced to rubble, and surrounding cities only fared marginally better. Kadyrov was appointed head of administration of the new Chechen Republic and was elected president in 2003, along with the ratification of a new constitution. This constitution put Chechnya back under Russian control, but granted them more autonomy than other regions. The insurgent campaign did not end with the official war. Many Chechen terror cells committed attacks against civilians for years after, including the infamous Beslan school siege. Kadyrov himself was killed in a terror attack in 2004 when a bomb went off under his seat at a football game. His son, Ramzan Kadyrov succeeded him and has practically ruled Chechnya since 2006. Ramzan is a controversial figure, to say the least.
У нас таких людей нету. Нету у нас геев. Если есть, заберите в Канаду. Хвала Аллаху, подальше от нас.
Through his efforts, most of the radical Islamists in Chechnya have been driven out or killed, but the jihadists who remain pose a threat to Chechen public safety. One of the forces created to deal with this terror threat is SOBR Akhmat. Formed in 2013, SOBR Akhmat, formerly SOBR Terek, is a Chechen rapid response unit. Although officially under the Russian National Guard, the language and symbols displayed by the unit suggest an equal allegiance to Ramzan Kadyrov. The name SOBR Akhmat is a reference to Ramzan's father, who he holds in great respect. SOBR Akhmat's slogan, Akmat Sila, translated to Akmat is power or Akmat strong, is also in honor of the late Kadyrov. The official duty of SOBR Akhmat is that of a rapid response unit, a role similar to American SWAT teams. Their specialty is counterterrorism and mountain fighting, stemming from Chechnya's long fight to root out jihadist forces in their country. Due to the specialty of their operations, skill is placed before all other considerations when it comes to troop composition. SOBR Akhmat is very selective in recruitment, and candidates are expected to pass grueling physical training to become official members. The training only continues as members of SOBR Akhmat are seen constantly practicing at Spetsnaz University in Grozny, honing in their skills, doing field training, and participating in various shooting and international police competitions. SOBR Akhmat has most recently been seen in the Ukraine war. Their mission directive is unknown, but it can be speculated to include anti-partisan activities as well as direct combat operations, though no one could really know for sure. One of the things that sets SOBR Akhmat apart from most typical SOBR units is their heavy use of Western kit. Today we will be displaying a basic SOBR Akhmat direct action kit to show you guys what you need if you want to put together your own kit. Starting with the helmet. Most Akhmat troops are seen wearing Western high-cut helmets, such as Ops Corps, AA Shield, and Team Windy helmets. Although Russian and Chinese versions from 545 Designs and Miltech are also used. These helmets are frequently hydro-dipped ATEX AU, like this example. But non-hydro-dipped helmets with helmet covers in ATEX AU are also used. Akhmat members are often seen with patches on their helmets. The Russian flag is placed on the right side of the helmet, and the Chechen flag is to the left. Call sign names are often on the back of the helmet, as well as the St. George ribbon. There are community members that specialize in making these patches, but AliExpress is also an option. A unique addition to some SOBR Akhmat members' helmets is a special night vision mount. This night vision mount is not commercially sold and seems to have been a custom order for SOBR Akhmat. I've seen a 3D printed reproduction, but I would not trust your night vision to 3D printed parts. Other members have been seen with a typical Wilcox mount, so what personnel get these special night vision mounts is unclear. Another special addition to some members' helmets is the Zenitco Eye. It is basically an IR and white light combo, but it does have a few other features. These lights don't seem to be on the civilian market just yet. The hearing protection most commonly seen among Akhmat are Peltor Comtacs. These Comtacs are normally attached to helmet rails worn by the operator. Picking up a pair of Comtacs for yourself is easy, as they are readily available online, but you'll need to pay a hefty price for them. A slightly cheaper option are Sword & Pros. These are seen occasionally in training photos. The uniforms worn by members of SOBR Akhmat are made by UF Pro. Members are seen wearing various UF Pro uniforms, but the most common are the Striker HT combat pants and combat shirt in brown-gray. Other colors of UF Pro have been seen in use, but brown-gray seems to be the standard issue color. The UF Pro Striker pants come in a few different styles, but are similar in construction. They are comfortable, breathable, and durable. These pants have multiple zippers for venting, as well as inserts for gel knee pads. The UF Pro Striker combat shirt is seen most commonly among members of Akmat. It is a well-designed combat shirt that is comfortable and breathable. When facing colder environments, members of SOBR Akhmat can be seen in other UF Pro jackets, such as this hunter jacket, as well as even thicker cold weather jackets. UF Pro, being a Slovenian company, makes getting their uniforms easy to acquire, but not cheap. When ordering their pants, I found they are true to size, but their jackets seem a little small on me. So definitely use their sizing guide when ordering. The patches seen on our jackets are the flags of Chechnya and Russia. The Russian flag is worn on the left shoulder, and the Chechen flag is worn on the right shoulder. Sometimes members of SOBR Akhmat are seen with reflective patches, but this seems mission dependent. Although brown-gray is the most commonly seen uniform, members of SOBR Akhmat have been seen in ATEX AU, ATEX FG, and black moss camo suits. Stitch Profi leafy suits have also been seen in common use by the unit. The Chechens' heavy use of Western-style kit is also seen in their plate carriers. Local reproductions of the SPC plate carrier are heavily used, along with the Warrior Assault System DCS and the 511 TacTec. Other plate carriers have been seen in use from both Russian and Western sources, mostly in ATEX AU, but some are in different patterns. A common plate carrier in use is the SPC-1 in ATEX AU. It is a comfortable and modular plate carrier, but it does feel a bit dated when compared to other more modern carriers. The SPCS and Stitch Profi carriers are also common in the unit, and a kit-correct but less desirable option is the 511 TacTec or the Warrior Assault System DCS plate carrier. Getting an SPC-1 in ATEX AU is a little more difficult nowadays, but they do come up from time to time on eBay and various Facebook groups. There is one from AliExpress, but be warned you might glow in the dark. A very common pouch pattern is 4 taco-style mag pouches stacked in a 2x2 formation, with a Warrior Assault System IFAK pouch to one side. Accessory pouches are normally placed on the cummerbund or the rear of the carrier. Danglers and crotch guards are also seen in use by the unit. HSGI belt rigs are commonly seen being used by the unit. These belts are normally in ATEX AU and come from foreign sources, such as Warrior Assault Systems, as well as local manufacturers, such as Stitch Profi. These belts are commonly seen with magazines and dump pouches, as well as other sustainment gear. Black and tan leg holsters are also commonly seen. Members of SOBR Akhmat have been seen wearing a variety of gloves, but tan mechanic gloves, especially the M-Pact, seem to be the most common. The most seen boot being used by the unit is the Zephyr GTX in tan. These boots are made by Loa and are extremely comfortable. They are made with water-resistant Gore-Tex, keeping your feet dry at the expense of ventilation. When in more forested environments, members of SOBR Akhmat wear slightly different kit. Members are seen in ATEX FG uniforms, UF Pro boonie hats, and an SRVV chest rig in woodland. Stitch Profi leafy suits are also extensively worn. SOBR Akhmat uses heavily modified AK-74M pattern rifles in their operations. Most commonly, they are equipped with Zenitco furniture, but other chassis systems, such as SureShot, have also been seen in use. Both of these AK-74 pattern rifles have been modified using these commonly seen rail kits. These rails are both well built and increase the functionality of the AK platform. The largest con is it makes the already front-heavy rifle much heavier. The muzzle devices on these rifles are the Zenitco DTK-1 and Strela flash hider. Both of these muzzle devices fill opposite roles. The Zenitco muzzle brake dampens recoil considerably, at the cost of a louder rifle and a larger muzzle flash. The Strela does the opposite, dampening muzzle flash at the expense of slightly more recoil. Standard attachments on SOBR Akhmat members' rifles are white lights, IR lights, and laser units. These come from a variety of brands, but Zenitco seems to be the most prolific. SOBR Akhmat has a propensity for Western-produced optics. They are seen in most of their training footage using EOTechs and aim points, with the occasional ACOG thrown in. Eastern copies of these optics, like Holosun, are also seen. SOBR Akhmat uses a variety of stocks for their AKs, but the most common are Western-style buffer tube stocks, Zenitco, and the standard AK stock. Magpul and Fab Defense seem to be popular. The PK platform is also used by a few members of the unit. These machine guns are usually equipped with a Zenitco rail system and a large foregrip. A company that I have left almost unmentioned so far is Fab Defense. Fab Defense is an Israeli company that makes many accessories that SOBR Akhmat commonly use. The reason you don't see anything from them on our rifles is just personal preference. Another difference with our rifles is that they are unpainted. SOBR Akhmat rifles are almost always seen with some sort of rattle can paint job, although plenty of exceptions do exist. The handguns used by SOBR Akhmat are usually Western, the Austrian Glock being a favorite among the unit. That's about it for the kit. I hope this video gave you a reference for Larping as a basic SOBR Akhmat operator in 2024. With the current war in Ukraine still raging, access to ATACs is fairly scarce. Some links I post might be dead or outdated by the time you watch this. To try and rectify this, I will link a few people that might be able to get you kit, but do your own sleuthing before you send some Ivan $1,200. If you got this far, thanks for watching. Thanks to all the members of the SOBR Akhmat Larping community that helped me with this video. And I would like to give an even bigger thanks to my buddy Bolt, who graciously came out and helped me film, as well as showing off his kit. I really do appreciate it. Well, that's about it from me. I hope to see all you boys out there in the zone. And remember, Akmat Sila.
الله